beautiful nerds. Welcome to our 14th episode of The Survivors of Ashcaleen. I'm excited to continue this journey with this group of anti-heroes, sometimes heroes, as they encounter this world's many mysteries. But who better to introduce themselves than our wonderful cast, starting with Matt.
Hello, I'm Matt, also known as Wartor Knight out there on the interwebs. And I have the pleasure of gracing your television, computer, and mobile phone screens as Jal Hord'n, Dow, Genie Pact Warlock, former sergeant in Ashcaleen's Red Guard, and now demoted to private of the Brecca Yellow Cloaks. Me here for it. We're going to see what happens with all that, getting Jal back in the military.
We'll see what happens with that. We'll see. Yeah, it could be interesting. Taylor.
Hi everyone, I am Taylor, also known as Virus05 on the TikTok app. I have the honor and privilege of playing Neska, a full-blood UNT Way of Mercy monk who is in a lot of trouble right now. So I have no idea what way this is going to go, and I'm so excited.
Victor.
Hello, everybody. I am Victor. You can find me on TikTok as Victor_the Story Weaver for all various creative personality outbursts. And I am playing the wonderful IVAR Paladin who started this so far 14 episode one shot as a IVAR the Banisher, then proceeded to transition into a time period feeling as IVAR the Forsaken, and after learning some people doing some foul play and abusing the party's good faith, decided that was going to take a new oath to become IVAR the Vanquisher, now Kalashtar with a new acquired Quori spirit in them. And yeah, I mean, it'll be fine. It's fine. We are absolutely in no danger whatsoever.
Oh. And of course, as always, I am your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, Andy, aka Mr.DanDyDM, and I can be found on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and on all the other socials. If you happen to come across this episode and you enjoy it, please consider catching some of the other shows that I DM for, such as The Shadows of Ashcaleen, and of course, Our Flag Means Doom. We do, of course, appreciate all of you who have liked and subscribed and followed us from episode 1 all the way to our 14th episode. We've been through a lot with this group. We've seen a lot of the world, the many different cities. We've encountered a lot of lore of Odromia, and we've fought a lot of baddies. And now we've got our introductions out of the way. Let us dive into a brand new episode of The Survivors of Ashcaleen. Neska. You find yourself surrounded by UNT from what it would appear, based off of their clothes and armor, would appear to be from all over the Peshium wildlands. This is a mighty array. This is the last ride of the Rohirrim from Lord of the Rings. Like, this is a massive host of UNT. And it is clear that they aim to do battle with an opposing force who seems to be out there in the distance, obscured by the brush and the trees and the jungle in the Peshium wildlands. Ivar, I need you to give me an Arcana check.
Certainly, sir. Oh wow, I didn't know my Arcana was that low. Okay. It'll buff out. Yep, that is a mighty 7.
Well, at least it's mighty.
Yeah, I mean, sci-fi.
Ivar, as you look off into the distance, and you look around you and you see this host of Yuan Ti arrayed, and you do see Jal, you do see Yanshu, and you do see Neska that are standing off to your sides. They're here. All of you are here. And the Yuan Ti do not seem to be taking any notice of the new arrivals in their ranks. The fact that you're there doesn't seem to throw them off at all.
Mm-hmm.
Something about what is off in the distance puts the hairs on the back of your neck a prickle. Jal, I need you to give me a perception check.
That's an 11.
An 11. On an 11, Jal, as you look out into the darkness of this, it's not, you do know that it's day. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I was going to say I have 120 feet of dark vision, including magical darkness.
Yep.
I hate to be that player, that's stereotypical, but...
Including magical darkness. Okay. As you look out into the thick flora of the jungle, you notice that it is daytime. You can vaguely see the piercings of light coming through the canopy, giving you just enough light to sort of make out the shapes that are moving from tree to tree. And it would appear that some of these shapes are up in the canopy, moving with incredible speed, while there are still others that are charging. They don't appear to be tall, whatever they are. They appear to be Jal. As you peer off into the distance, the things up in the canopy, you don't necessarily know what they are. Something shadowy and dark and foreboding. The things on the ground, you might have a little bit more familiarity with, because you literally just saw them, albeit in another reality.
They're dwarves.
You see...
Or at least dwarven height.
Yes. You do see a massive army of dwarves charging the Yuan Ti ranks. Also, the cries and the roars that are coming from the dwarven host. You hear, "For Thonbarul! For Thonbarul! For Mount Kegum!" And you hear all of this charging right at you. Neska, it's at this point you hear your father standing slightly behind you. A young man. A young version of your father, a version you've never seen in your life. You can see it in his eyes, fear and resolve. It looks like it is going to be, the battle is going to be joined in the next few seconds. What would you like to do?
Not what I was expecting at all. Can I turn and try and talk to my father? Like, why is he in the middle of the battlefield and not behind the ranks?
I'll ask you this. Did your father ever talk to you about any of his old war stories? Just like, like you would encounter like a veteran and you would ask them about the war or about a war that they were involved in. How many of them actually do want to talk about what they went through?
None.
So yeah,
He refused and said I wasn't ready.
Yeah. So, you see your father behind you. What would you like to do?
I will approach him cautiously, but almost aggressively, like, what are you doing here? What is happening?
Get back in line.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Do you not see? And he points off in the distance towards the charging dwarven horde.
I see. I don't understand.
Ivar, what are you doing?
How close are the nearest dwarves from where we are?
About 100 feet away. Moving fast.
What is the attire that the party is currently wearing?
The entire that you were in the material plane.
In the material plane. Ivar is going to start walking in the direction of the dwarves. And one of the things that he's going to try to keep an eye on, he is keeping an eye on the weaponry of the dwarves to see if any of the weaponry has similarity to the weaponry that we encounter in the tunnels and has brought Neska to their current state. And even though I don't know if this would work, because technically speaking, we are in Neska's mind right now, he's also going to use Divine Sense, which allows him to detect good and evil, and until the end of his next turn, he can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell or know the location of any celestial fiend undead within 60 feet. That is not behind total cover.
You do not get any sense of fiend, undead, or celestial. What you do see, though, is that while the armor is different in its make and its fashion, there are certain similarities that the dwarves have on their hands. They would appear to have rings. These black rings. You're muted.
Oh, I don't think he's trying to... I don't know that he's trying to actually communicate it more than just...
I mute myself and yell when I figure things out that Jal doesn't know.
They are charging at you in their dwarven military garb, in their armor. They do seem to have either gauntlets, these black obsidian gauntlets on their hands, or they seem to be wearing these black obsidian rings that you see some of them like holding their hands aloft, pointed in the direction of the canopy.
Sorry, who's pointing in the... Sorry, what was the last bit?
The dwarves are pointing to the canopy.
What do I see if I look at the canopy?
You see shadowy things moving in the canopy. You can't really make them out.
Okay. I'm gonna say that Ivar, as he's walking a little closer to the dwarves that are charging, and he spots the rings and the gauntlets, he turns to the party as he informs them. And he just says, "The rings, the gauntlets, look closely." And I'm going to say that Ivar is looking back. He turns his attention back to the dwarves and the rings and everything, but he's aware that they are seeing something in Neska's mind. So his attention is not really on the dwarves. His attention is past them. He's trying to find the nightmare fiend somewhere in this wild land, or at least a spot that may be more directly connected to actually that thing rather than the vision that they're actually witnessing right now.
I'll say, Neska, give me a perception check.
Oh, up there. 19.
Neska, on a 19, you see your father. It is your father. Like you could see it. Like it's plain. Like he's younger, definitely younger looking. And you look past your father just over the left shoulder, and you see past the ranks of the Yuan Ti, larger than life, larger than you've encountered before, is the figure standing, just sort of hovering over the entire Yuan Ti army, just with arms outstretched, almost able to encompass the whole thing, is the Dream Devourer. He looks at you and says,
Well, this is so delicious. Your people are so truly fucked up. Imagine passing your trauma, your thirst and lust for vengeance down to your children. All of your most hated memories passing down to your children so that you will not ever forget.
Neska, you know that through the process of becoming what you are, which is effectively one of the most talented spies in the Yuan Ti Empire, you had to sacrifice so many things and go through so many trials and rituals, some of them extremely painful, and some of them you weren't entirely sure what the purpose was. You only knew that they prepared you for something bigger. You don't know what this creature is talking about. Ivar, how far ahead of the Yuan Ti army are you standing?
He would have only stepped enough for him to be able to...
and then you came back. Okay.
Like, yeah, it would have been the kind of thing of like, if the dwarves are coming in this direction anyway, so it would have been almost like an idle walk, as if it's like just stepping off the ranks to kind of get a look, because he's just trying to spot what they look like. And the moment that happened, he would have turned to the party to let them know.
Jal, you are standing just slightly off from the group, and you feel your ring vibrate, and you look down at your hands, and your hands and body are aglow with verdant green energy. And you sense also, it's almost like your ring is trying to tell you that this is something else. This is very different. This is dangerous. There is some kind of magic afoot that you have not encountered before.
Can I get a sense of if it's talking about the dwarves, the things in the trees, or potentially the
It's actually very hard.
overhaul?
It's very hard. All of it. It's very
Yeah.
hard for you to differentiate between what kind of danger are we talking here, because there is, of course, it appears to be an army of dwarves charging at you using some kind of dark magic that is harnessed to them. But then, of course, you also are getting the distinct impression that this whole thing, which you do know you guys walked into Neska's mind, and what that might entail. So this whole thing, it's almost like the environment itself is a danger. Which actually might say a lot more about Neska.
Well, that's just it. Like, with that feeling, like, Jaw looked at this as walking into Neska's mind, and hey, we're going to see some Neska memories. We're going to see what Neska dreams about. Maybe we'll catch, Neska's fantasy date with Yanshu or something like that. We'll see what happens. This doesn't feel like Neska's mind. This feels like the other thing is in here. So he's questioning, like, just knowing that there's this ominous presence with the area. He's trying to gauge the validity of what he's seeing versus what he's feeling. Like, am I really supposed to be concerned with an army of dwarves charging at me? Or should I be looking elsewhere?
Neska, do you share what you see with the other party members?
I will, yeah.
Okay.
It's here. Behind my people.
Jaw's gonna turn around. Can he see it?
Oh, yeah.
How far is it?
It's about 600 feet away.
And
Because
the
there's
scale
like,
is just massive.
yeah, it's standing huge above. It's almost not well, maybe Godzilla size almost, as it sort of is looking down over these two armies that are very close to impacting at this point. Like, you're technically not an initiative, but like you have a little less than a minute to decide what you're going to do.
Jaw's gonna look at this thing and kind of lean closer to Ivar and just go, do you think he's compensating for something?
I have a feeling this is some sort of joke, and in this case, I will support whatever the punchline may be.
Thanks, buddy.
I will support the punchline of this joke.
Yes. Ivar is not. He's not even gonna. He's
That
like,
is the Ivar.
I have a feeling I kind of know you a little better now. Whatever this, I'll go with you in this.
That is the Ivar version of cool story, bro.
Neska, as you see this creature behind your father, it doesn't make sense that he would be here. You know he, like, technically he's still alive, but he's an old man. But he's still, even as an old, even incredibly young, he would still not be able to have been at this battle. Which means that him being here isn't real.
I storm up to him and get like right up in his face.
Your father?
My father.
Go ahead.
What is my name?
What do you mean? What is your name? You know your name. You are Neska. You are my daughter. Now get back in line.
Seconds, we have seconds. Oh my god.
It's at this point you feel someone grab your hand.
Oh.
And you immediately recognize that it's Yanshu. And he grabs your hand and he sees your father. He sees everything that's going on around. He's sort of taking in the battlefield. He looks at you. Do you recognize this person, Neska?
You do not?
Do you know this person?
This is my father.
What doesn't make sense? I mean, this is obviously the Peshian wildlands. This is obviously a battle that took place. This can't be the Battle of Born Tarum, but it is.
Either we've been lied to, or that fucker is twisting our history.
Or it just remembers its own.
Or that.
And it's mixing up its history with your history?
That's playing dirty.
Doesn't... When we were outside, I know Jal and Ivar, they did something to it. They weakened it, right?
Felt like it.
Maybe this is the problem. It's... For it might be weakened to a point where it doesn't fully remember everything, but it's mixing what it's missing with what you have, with your memories.
This battle happened hundreds of years ago.
So it's not possible for your father to have been here.
Should not have been.
So this is a version of your father that is much younger, that is...
Are we hearing this?
Yeah, you're standing right next to each other.
There's stuff that probably Ivar would be doing before he says this in this point in time, but I'm just going to say this just because this is the thread that we're following currently. Ivar would say, so is the memory of a young version of your father yours or theirs?
I don't remember my father ever being this young.
So the question is, did this creature ever encounter your father at such young age?
It's a very, very, very good question.
Hey, this is an A, B, C, D conversation, so E your way out.
I'm sorry. I hate feeling left out.
Where's the voice coming
I
from?
can get used to it.
It's coming from him. It's coming from Big Guy.
Okay.
What is
Go ahead.
what is the posture of this? Hate to get to like the nuances, but like my brain is trying to see if this is just like he's a looming threat watching watching entertainment, or is he sitting like like we're on a chessboard?
I was envisioning like a chessboard type thing.
It kind of feels like that.
That typical like BBG in the video game that shows up at the edge of the castle. You're like super tiny and you see the character show up.
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts in the
It's
shadow.
like a platform runner. It's a
Yeah,
platform
yeah.
runner
It's a
adventure.
platform runner.
And it's like he's chasing you throughout the level, just sort of hovering, and eventually
Did you
like
just
he'll
see
bring an
that arm?
arm down.
Oh,
Because that gives Jal the vibes that like whatever's happening, he's just controlling it. Like if he was here being grand and being a badass, like he would be like we would see him standing on the ground and doing other things, being a part of it. No, he's behind the scenes. He's orchestrating what we're seeing. And again, that makes me question the validity of what we're seeing. I can. It's going to be an embarrassing thing because I know how it's going to work. Jal's just going to reach his hand out to one of the UNT soldiers, like towards their face, and see if he can touch them.
All. Your hand passes right through.
Fucking knew it.
And it's like passing your hand through thick smoke, where the smoke seeps through your fingers and reforms on the other side, and then you pull it back through, and it's the same effect, and it reforms into this image. This
Do they
whole
react
thing,
at all?
they do not. All of them seem focused on the charging dwarven horde, which is actually a perfect moment to tell you there is a clash. You hear this massive clash of rending armor and blades coming together and flesh being torn. And at first, from your perspective, and all of this is sort of happening around you, Neska, your father charges ahead, and he's lost to sight amidst the carnage. Meanwhile, all of the shadowy movement above the canopy suddenly solidifies. There is no more piercing light, shedding speckles of light across the landscape beneath the canopy. It is all suddenly dark, and you're no longer really able to distinguish dwarf from UNT, as it is a massive writhing limbs and just pieces of armor being cast aside. And that's when suddenly these massive smoky tentacles suddenly keep just pouring down from the canopy above and just dragging UNT soldiers up into the canopy, completely like tearing them limb from limb, and just completely leaving the battlefield just strewn with the limbs and corpses of this UNT army. Neska, I need to give me a perception check.
16.
16. Neska, you are seeing just sort of this horror, and you feel Yanshu's grip on your hand just get slightly tighter. Just sort of, it is one of those things that completely anchors you and like grounds you to reality. He is real. He is there. He is not going anywhere. He's right there by your side. So are Jal. So is Ivar. They're all right there. All of this is taking place around them. These soldiers are moving through you like smoke right now, all just coming through you, and this whole thing is playing out regardless of your presence. Battle is done very quickly. On a 16, Neska, you see off in the distance a UNT woman clad in white robes, running. And you see, it looks like you, but it's different. It's been a long time since you've seen your mother. But this looks like, because so often when we see the younger versions of our parents, we suddenly see like how we get our features. And you suddenly realize just how much a young version of your mother looks a lot like you. and she is running through the forests of the Peshian wildlands. She is running towards a cliff, being chased by one of these shadowy figures, these shadow tendrils towards a cliff's edge. And you see her fall off just as this thing is about to grab her. And you hear this thing laugh, and you hear her scream as she falls off the edge of the cliff. There's something about this memory, or something about this that triggers this reminds you of another moment that you've had that is sort of similar to this. It is when you were within Jal's ring, back when it was housing for the other nightmare creature that was trying to get its hold on Ivar. And you see this, and you feel Yanshu's hand tight on yours. Ivar, you also see this. Jal, you see this as well. It's just that, Neska, you noticed it, and you're looking at it, and so they are now looking at it as well.
And I give Yanshu's hand a squeeze, and I want to break away and run after the shadowy figure that was chasing my mother.
Okay.
I'm following.
Okay.
Not letting her go alone.
I'm gonna say, and this probably would have been happening when the clash was about to happen. Ivar staring at the figure, the Devourer, in the distance, would have attempted to contact Val in his mind. Probably the conversation would have happened in a fragment of a second, real time, happening in the heads, happening faster. Ivar would have asked Val, in the realm of dreams, is a Devourer and the nightmare separate?
Hold, please. Need to remember Val's voice.
Take one.
Is the nightmare separate from the dream?
And Val would sense, with the gaze that Ivar is having, which is toward the creature 600 feet away, Val would sense the question, am I really? Is there really actually distance between the Devourer and myself right now, if we are indeed in something that the Devourer has conjured?
We are inside Neska's mind. But right now, Neska's mind is... it's fractured. It's like parts are hers, but also parts are the imbued memories of all of her people that have come before her. Past traumas, past pains, past wounds, past dreams. All of this passed down. So, in a sense, it is all her. But then none of it is as well. This is the pain of all of her people, all inside her mind. And yes, part of it is controlled by the Devourer. But he only has control of something that already is here. He can only influence it. He cannot create it himself. That's why he was able to do what he did to you, Ivar. That is why he was able to influence the Jaal's ring and the environment there. None of that was his creation. He was literally toying with your minds and everything that you brought into the space. You hear this pause. It's like Val is thinking. We need to be sure to tread lightly here, because if we are here with Neska, and Neska is experiencing all of this and is seeing all of these past traumas of her people and of her parents and of their generations, that means that we might encounter, I don't know for certain, but we might encounter portions of you, Ivar, and of Jaal.
Is there anything I can do to find the Devourer behind the veil?
The only way out is through.
Ivar is going to, at that point, he's probably going to, once Neska starts moving and Jaal starts moving, he gives one last look at the figure of the Devourer. And he just has this moment where he just looks at it defiantly, raises his sword, and then takes a couple of steps back and starts following the group. He's gonna cast Bless on the party. So whenever a target
Really quick though, before you
Yeah,
do
go
that, give me a perception check when you raised your sword.
Am I seeing what I think I'm seeing on that sword? 16.
On a 16, nothing about the sword per se, but it might have more to do with the person wielding it. As you raise the sword up, you see that your hand and arm, and actually your entire body, is glowing with this silvery light. It is the light that you've noticed whenever you have been in Holy Communion with a Monitor. And as you raise your sword, there is the very faintest of flinches from the massive creature.
And in his head, Val will hear as a way to say it on behalf of Val and himself in regards to this flinch. And that is all we need.
Jaal, as you are moving, you're right next to Yanshu and Neska as you're moving forward into the jungle, heading towards, chasing after this dark, shadowy figure that you're seeing ahead of you. I need you to give me no. I know I'm asking for perception a lot, but it's one of those things where you need to notice something in order for other things to happen. So, yes, give me a perception check.
Another perception.
This is fair.
Oh, that landed on my keyboard cocked, so
Wait, me rolling perception or Neska?
Both of you.
Oh,
That time is a 15. I'm slowly getting worse.
so am I. That's a 6.
I don't like this.
As you are chasing after this figure, you see very briefly, it's almost like its head becomes, or its face rather, disjoints from the direction that it's heading, and it suddenly floats. As it's running away from you, the face of this creature floats looking back at you. And you see this grimace just stamped on its features.
Yes. Chase. Chase. Let's see how you do with this.
And I need both of you to give me an intelligence saving throw.
You both have 1d4.
1d4. Thank you, Ivar.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome, my child.
What was that? Are you muted?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. If it is a spell or other magical effect, I have advantage.
It is not a spell.
But is
No,
it?
It's not a
magic?
spell.
It's not a spell, damn it.
But is
Oh,
it?
it's a magical effect.
Technically, this does do psychic damage.
Sounds
But this is
pretty magical.
technically no. This is
Or is it
technically
psionic?
This is technically a thing that is native. It's something that is only it can do.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so I won't roll with advantage. Ew. No. 14
With the 1d4?
with the D4.
6?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Both of you fail.
Yep.
Both of you take. That's 10,
Oh.
14. That is.
Oh.
That is 20 points of psychic damage.
Ouch.
Fair.
Jeez.
Oh, I need to do Yanshu too. Yanshu gets a nat 20.
Of course.
Let's
it does.
go. That's my boy.
He takes half, so that is 10. 10 points of psychic damage to him.
Wait,
So
it
he's
might
still-
not help. It might not help me. It might help Neska though. Are we close to Ivar? Because Ivar has an aura of protection.
He has that aura, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
we
yes,
may have
that's
been
right.
Are we
I don't
outside
think it's gonna help
30
me
feet?
because I rolled like
It's
dog
a
shit.
it's a +4 to all saving throws. So technically speaking, Neska, you said 14. That would have been an
So-
18 actually.
That would
If
have
we're
succeeded.
within
Yeah.
if we're within 30 feet of you.
How far away do they have to
within
be?
10 feet.
Oh, 10
then
feet. Then
no.
no.
Yeah. I mean, he would have been a
False.
little further away. He's catching up probably, or he's close though.
Damn.
I don't know if
I
10
tried,
feet
guys.
close.
Yeah, I have a speed of 60 feet, so I'm gone.
You're bombing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, this was
Sorry.
a saving throw. Never mind.
But that also means that Yanshu still has a D4 currently.
Well, yeah,
From
sure.
the-
D4
from
or
the
plus 4?
No,
Yanshu nat
D4
20.
just from the bless because you guys used it, but Yanshu nat 20. So Yanshu still has a D4 to use until while I hold the concentration.
Bless
for
is just up.
Plus
It's
it's
just
just
up the
it's
whole time.
concentration. It's
Oh,
it's
does
up.
it keep as the
It
D4
stays.
continues to
So long-
stays?
yeah,
Oh,
so long
perfect.
As long as you
so-
concentrate on it, it stays. Yeah.
Great.
That's why we fucking love Bless.
Bless is amazing.
Blessed be.
As you are charging through this this cluster of jungle, you suddenly feel these fleeting images suddenly pierce through your mind, and it is images of Ashcaleen and just buildings crumbling in a fire and people just dying throughout the city, and hearing the thing that is most loud in your ears are the cries of everybody in Ashcaleen perishing violently. And you're able to shake it off, but it is truly unnerving. And it is something that is definitely weighs on you in your mind. As you pursue this thing, it suddenly spreads out onto the jungle floor and just like spreads its entire mass into this like misty fog.
Probably not going to do anything. I'm going to activate Genie's Gift Flight and not let my feet touch the fog. This is also thematic because both Yanshu and Neska are faster than Jal on foot, so he's probably falling behind.
So you raise yourself up over the fog.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Still in pursuit, and if I may, could I just be on guard if I see anything trying to come at Neska to react to it, since I am chasing Neska?
Yes. Neska, are you just charging ahead towards where this creature was last seen?
I'll continue, but once it dissipates, I will change my target to where my mother jumped over the cliff. I want to see what's happened to her.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
16.
On a 16. Okay. On a 16.
Oh, plus D4.
Oh.
17.
17. As you make your way through, you feel the mists of this creature's essence that is left behind cloying at your legs, making your movements ever so slightly slower. But you're able to make it all the way to the edge of the cliff. And you see, you did succeed on your wisdom saving throw. You see your mother with one arm hanging on a ledge further down than you. But you see your mother hanging there, gripping for dear life.
How big is the ledge? Is it just big enough for...
The ledge extends about 5 feet away from the cliff face. So it's about 5 feet away, 5 feet past it, and about 10, 15 feet down from where the ledge is, or from where the cliff where you're standing. So you're looking down, it extends 5 feet this way and about 15 feet down.
Okay.
So she literally jumped and then snagged this thing as she fell.
Yep. Cool. I will jump over as well, and I'll use slow fall.
Okay.
To get to the ledge, and then I would like to try and hoist her up.
Okay, give me a strength check.
Because I'm so good at those.
I know.
Wait, D4. It's not gonna help. 9.
Okay. As you reach down, you grab at her arm, and she looks at you with sort of this astonished but also hopeful look in her eyes, and you reach, and it's like you can almost grasp, but then your hand passes through, and she's much like the other people you've encountered. There's smoke, and you realize in this moment that your mother, and maybe it's just because you're close to her, but you see that she is pregnant. And you see sort of this panicked look in her eye as she looks up at you, and it's like it looks like she can see that you're trying to help, but you're struggling to get a grasp on her, and she's still holding herself there, and she like uses the sort of the strength of your grasp on her arm, even though you're not able to like pull her up any further. She's sort of like able to like balance or get her bearings, and it reaches up another arm and is able to like grab hold. And she looks up at you and says, in a very even, unemotional, calm, very Yuan-Ti-like voice, says, "Thank you so much for helping. What is your name?"
I'm gonna roll for this. My name is Neska.
Oh, Neska, that is such a lovely name.
Now is not the time. And I'm gonna try and pull her up again.
Give me a strength check.
Yep. Wes. 7.
Am I closing in? Can I help in any way?
You at this point have reached the edge of the cliff where Yanshu is standing looking down.
How far back am I?
You're about 20 feet behind.
I'm gonna say that during that walk, Jaw will probably hear in his mind Ivar's voice as he says, "I'm connecting to you through here because I do not think Neska's mind can be trusted. But if you need to, I'm here."
Noted. You got any ideas at all right now? Because we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants here. There's a giant monster thing that's going to absolutely destroy us, possibly. And now we're chasing a woman, and she's falling over the side, and, I'm going to see what I can do about that. But, how about getting us through all of this?
Who are you asking?
Ivar, in the brain.
Oh.
I mean,
You opened up a connection to Jaw's mind. Jaw's an overthinker. It's just all funneling through now. All the thoughts up. What the fuck are we gonna do?
One thing at a time, you hear.
I don't know how to do that.
Definitely, if Ivar is close enough, he will probably, reach to meet the group so that everybody is standing within 10 feet, at least those on the cliff, provided if Neska is below a 10 feet depth below. But he would probably get to that place, shield out, sword out, keeping an eye on the surroundings.
Could His Majesty Lord DM, instead of reaching down and grabbing with my bare hands, could I telekinetic shove her up to us? Mechanically speaking, but thematically, this would be Jaw making a construct of a big hand to grab and lift up.
Sure.
I mean, if she's unwilling, which I don't think she is, then it would be a strength save DC 16.
Is Neska within, if Ivar were to be on the edge, crouch and reach down, would Neska?
She's gone over the cliff's edge down to the lower ledge, so she's 15 feet down from you.
15 feet down. Okay, so she's too far.
This works so long as she's within 30 feet of me.
Yes. So yeah, try and give me. You still have to make an attack roll, correct?
No, it is a strength save for the target.
Got it. That is a 2.
So, yoink. For lack of a better term.
For whatever reason, Jal, all you see from your perspective is Neska trying to pull smoke up from the ledge. And you see this female form that they're trying to pull up from the ledge. And as you stretch your ring hand down and you try to use your magic, you see it have an effect. And suddenly this form of this woman suddenly launches up into the air, up all the way onto the ledge that Neska is on, and stands. Neska, you see your mother suddenly lift up from the ledge, and she sort of momentarily just flails there for a second and then is dropped onto the ledge in front of you. This woman doesn't see you, Jal. All she sees, all she's looking at is Neska. Neska, she embraces you and just holds you, and in a very yuan-ti, even tone to their voice, no sign of true like affection or emotion, says, "Thank you. I owe you a great debt, Neska. Because of your bravery in rescuing me and putting yourself in danger. You have only to ask anything. If it is in my power to grant, I will grant it."
I'm going to cash that in later.
Did y'all hear that?
You will cash that in later. Very well. And at this point, the form of Sana, your mother, vanishes.
If I ever go home, we are having words. Can I try and climb up?
You are able to climb up.
Yeah.
Yanshu reaches down and sort of hauls you up the rest of the way. Jal, it was interesting how your magic was able to have an influence here.
I'd say after a moment of like, Neska coming back and everything, he's gonna have that sort of thought of like, Neska had hands on this woman and could not pull her up, but I was able to make a giant magic hand and do what she couldn't. You're gonna have a moment, kind of look down at the ring and be like, "Is there something you're not telling me? What do I need to know? You already started talking. You let me know that there was something going on here, bigger than what I was seeing. Don't shut up now. Give me a hand here." And he's just going to pay attention, which is saying a lot for Jal.
What specifically are you paying attention to, Jal?
The ring vibrated and let me know that there was something deeper with what the Dream Devourer was doing. And it was giving me feelings that this was something greater than what we were expecting. The assumption to be made is that Jal being here worries his patron, who has been quiet since giving Jal this ring.
Are you doing anything to focus on the ring besides just saying that you're focusing on it?
Well, he's quite literally looking directly at his own fist. Like,
okay.
He's looking at it. He's listening. He is feeling. If it makes any sort of difference, he is paying attention to changes in the odor in the air and whether or not he starts to taste something funny. He is using all of his +0 perception.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Oh no. Oh no.
I know that this probably would make no sense, but if this was loud, would Ivar be able to help? Give the help action as a way of, especially that with the mind link and Ivar being connected to the whole concept of...
You know what? Yeah, it would make sense, because technically this is not the material plane. This is something that all of you have knowledge of, that this is not a real space. This is the space of dream, nightmare, and memory. And you all have experience with it, and you all know that it's topsy-turvy, timey-wimey bullshit, and it is both here and not here at the same time. So yeah.
And Ivar can't dream, so Ivar wouldn't even be able to be
Give-
like, oh, am I
give-
dreaming? He's like, no, I know that this is not real. So
Give Jal advantage.
come on, Joel.
Okay, that's good because the first one was a 9.
Come on.
Natural 20.
Let's go!
Oh.
Yes.
You love to see it. You love to see it.
Oh.
Oh man.
Oh.
It's hot in here.
Jal, the fact that you were able to use your magic that is gifted to you by your patron through the ring, and the fact that it is behaving rather oddly right now, like it seems almost like this space, and maybe it's just sort of the frequency that this ring has found itself within spaces such as these, or have found spaces such as these inside it. Suddenly something is switched on, and you hear the voice of your patron. You hear the voice. I'm going to put their name in the chat. You hear the voice of Vidil Betisat. Oh boy, Jal, it looks like you're in the thick of it, man. This is some serious shit you've got yourself mixed up in.
Yeah. I'll. Like, was this like a brain thing, or did everybody hear this?
Oh no, you just hear it.
Okay. So he's just going, well, I mean, Ashcaleen not being here, I was looking for a new place to vacation. I figured, why not just go into the deep recesses of one of my good friends' minds and see what kind of horrors we could find there.
Oh, yeah, sure. That sounds like a great idea, Jal. Just a new place to vacation. No dangers here, just, traipsing about someone's consciousness.
Yeah, you see where I'm coming from. As you can see, though, I got a little lost on the way.
Yeah, you definitely got lost, Jal. That's a big problem.
Yeah. Wow, it's getting crowded in here. So... Yeah, I mean, me, I'm usually ready to just start shooting at whatever moves, but, you got it.
Eldritch Blast!
That's the one. That's the one. You got a direction for me? You got any insight on this? Do you know what this guy is that's fucking around with us?
Well, I can't say that I've ever encountered their like before. They're kinda not my wheelhouse. They're an old magic, but I've never seen them used like this before. They're usually hanging around in some kind of dream space, not in someone's head.
Oh.
Like actual head. They're usually like a part of a plane of dreams.
Yeah, I think that Ivar knows a little bit about that.
Yeah, Ivar would know about that. He's really good with dreams.
So, any thoughts on returning this one to sender? Get it out of Neska's head rather than hanging out here?
Well, I don't know, my boy. Would appear that this whole thing is just the generational trauma of all of the UNT people just sort of hanging around inside your friend's head. It's been passed on from generation to 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 generation. I've been saying to generation quite a bit. To generation to generation to generation to generation until, you arrive.
Huh. How about that? So you're telling me these people hated what happened here so much that they literally ingrained it in their metaphorical ancestral memories?
It kind of looks like that.
Man, I've heard of grudges. Holy fuck? Anyway, so how come?
It's just common sense, Jarl. People tend to remember the painful things more than they knew the good things. They remember the good things about their lives.
Hey, you could say that again. So how come, if this is all dream stuff, how come I'm able to affect it? Because it's not mine. I put my fist through a Yuan-Ti's face earlier.
I really couldn't tell you, my boy. You're one of the good uns, Jarl. I knew you were one of the good uns when I first saw you in Ashcaleen. And I was like, all these humans around here kinda suck. And this one, he's kinda dumb. But he's got a good heart. And
Alright, I'll take that.
I can work with that. Well, maybe dumb isn't the right word, but
No, I think you're good. That's fine.
you lack guile, which is a good quality for humans to have, because I'll say the rest of you lot, you be guileful like crazy. Can't trust anything you people say.
What do you mean, you people?
Exactly. What do I mean by you people?
Alright. We'll let that one slide for now. Alright. So I got a nightmare thing that, another one. There's the other one that I was able to kind of make it my bitch a little bit. We're gonna see if we can't do that again. Sit tight. We can talk more when we're out of here, right? 'Cause I like the back and forth rather than I just have this ring.
Oh, you want to talk more to me, Jarl?
Ooh, save that one for night. We'll talk more like that after sunset. You know,
Noted.
Jaw's head after dark. And Jaw's just going to about face look at the group, just be like, all right. Okay, so this is normally the part where somebody would say, I have a plan. I don't have one of those, but things are happening. So I just gotta call, just was listening to somebody that I hadn't heard in a while, which that's cool. But for some reason, even though this isn't my head, I can do things here. Like, Neska, you really couldn't do much with trying to help that person up, but I could. I'm not one for these, forced savior kind of storylines and stuff like that. But I mean, I guess that, maybe I can just do what I do here. And he's going to start looking around. Is there any indication of where the Dream Devourer is? Other than everywhere, but a point for it.
Joel.
No.
When you're done with the conversation, IVAR is looking at you. Okay. Looking at you as in, it's that moment when you see his face and maybe perhaps in the back of your mind, you kind of go, wait, he spoke to me in my head, mind blink, told me that I could communicate with him. And Ivar's looking at you like he's been listening to the whole conversation this whole time.
Okay.
But that being said, Ivar...
At this point, really quick, Yanshu has pulled Neska. You all are standing at the cliff's edge. Your mother has since dissipated away, Neska. At this point, the environment has begun changing. The jungle is slowly melting away, and even the ground around you is starting to erode slightly, and maybe not erode like eroding away, but eroding into something else. Please continue.
When Neska is pulled back, and after Ivar hears the conversation that Jal just had, plus what he got from Val, and Jal is looking around, Ivar has a moment where he's looking at Neska, and he just responds to Jal's comment. I think perhaps we may have more than one strategy we can try. And Ivar walks to Neska. And he stands right in front of you and gently raises his hands and attempts to place them on your shoulders. And he's looking at you as he says, what you are seeing here is more than just memory, Neska. What you are carrying here is your ancestry and what came before you. This thing is using that, but I believe that if you are connected to that which came before you, you may be able to channel it, to use it against it. And if you let me, I would like to try and help you.
Of course, I'm going to accept your help. What do you mean I'm... What?
Ivar
I'm carrying what?
slowly moves around behind you, keeping his hands on your shoulders, but now standing right behind you, like this towering figure behind you. And he's sort of leans slightly as he speaks to you. Think not of yourself as just yourself. Focus on those who came before you. Start with your parents, then think further back and further back, and try to speak to them. Ask them to come forth, to stand beside you on your behalf for the sake of the Yuan-Ti. And even though I have no idea if this would be helpful or not, Sir DM, I will walk you through my thought process.
Okay.
Ivar removes the mind link from Jal, and we technically are inside Neska's mind. Ivar has noticed that the creature flinched when they saw the radiance from within him, and so now Ivar thinks, I'm coming for you. And he connects to mind link with Neska, which technically speaking is where we are in, which means that technically speaking, if Ivar is connected to Neska's mind, Ivar has a more direct line to attempt to find the actual source.
Oh, I like.
This fire.
All right. I totally followed that. That makes perfect sense. I will say this before, just for my own amusement, before you take the mind link away from Jal and give it to Neska, you hear Vidil's voice talking to Jal, saying, "That Ivar, he's so hot right now."
I know, it's really distracting. It's very hard to work with him, you know?
I have peaked. I can retire from D&D now. This is it. This is what it's all for.
As you link with Neska, you feel the blessing of a Monitor within you. It's like you're almost passing it, like passing a baton of blessing to Neska. And Neska, it gives you the idea. And I'll ask you the question. Neska, in your entire life, when did you feel the most safe?
On top of the dwarven ship when we were in the bird's nest with Yonshu, just looking out over the sunset.
The entire jungle suddenly fades away, completely eroding, and it's like this massive movement of smoke and mist as the whole thing is just blown away off into nothingness. And suddenly, all of you are standing in the crow's nest aboard the dwarven ship of New Thondarul, and you are looking out over a majestic sunset.
This was supposed to be a private moment.
Don't worry, I'll forget it when we're out of here, I promise.
Ivar has another moment where he just says, "Call them forth." In your mind, sensing that what he's suggesting is for you to literally try to call your tribe forward into this moment.
I'm a spy, not a necromancer.
Well,
Do
good
not-
thing you're not actually summoning the dead.
This is not magic, Neska. Don't overthink it. Just call them forth.
Yanshu grabs your hand again, Neska. And even though you are all on the crow's nest together, you do see like this fraction of a second as he is staring off into the distance, and he recognizes the significance of where you all are. None of that conversation, was any part of that conversation between Ivar and Neska out loud? Or was it all just within your mind through the mind link?
I think part of it was out.
Okay.
And then the last call them forth was in the mind.
The significance of the place is not lost on Yanshu as he realizes that Neska has revealed a portion of herself, and that she is very much of the mind that the moment that she has felt the most safe in her entire life was standing on a mast of a dwarven city ship with him. And it is... There isn't a tear that's shed necessarily, but you can sort of see very briefly his facial countenance just sort of change to being one of sort of like affection. And you feel his hand just grab yours just slightly tighter. And you see off in the distance the light of the sun just bathing the world in this reddish golden glow as it is slowly descending past the horizon line. And you hear this
chorus of voices, like too many to count. And some of them are eerily familiar in terms of your life, like maybe names of people or people that you knew. You hear a grandfatherly voice. All of them seem to be whispering in this moment. Remember, 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 remember. And you see the world around you once again melt away. And the ship disappears. The mast disappears, and suddenly you are falling. And for a very brief period, you suddenly land, and it's almost like, whoa, like just falling like 5 feet when you land. And you see you are within one of the temples of your homeland, and you see a younger version of you lying on an altar. And you see the high priests and priestesses of your people gathered around many altars. And all of these people are young individuals about your age. And there is a rite, a magic rite, an arcane rite that is being spoken, a spell. And it is, you understand it as you speak the language of your people. And it is a dark and ominous magical rite that is being performed. And it is literally taking all of the old memories, all of the old stories, all of the old pieces of legend, all of the old wrongs that need to be righted. And it is literally transferring them into the minds of the next generation of people. This ritual being almost a promissory note saying, it's your job to fulfill this now.
I'm going to say real quick, when they arrive to the temple, Ivar just tries to catch Jarl's gaze with a sort of be ready look, as if he feels like we're on the hunt now, like we're on the prowl. And so there's that thing of like knowing what he heard about the ring and the fact that they're moving through images. There's like that exchange of that look of just be ready.
Neska, this scene very quickly shifts. These moments do not seem to be coming in any kind of chronological order, as it's very clear from what you've witnessed already. You have gone back hundreds of years to a battle in a point in time that you were never a part of, have no memory of. You also saw your father there, even though you know he technically wasn't. And you also have now seen your mother, a memory from your mother's past of being chased through the forest by a shadowy figure, almost perishing, but is saved by someone who gives them a name. You are then transported to a moment in time where you and somebody that you have a great deal of affection for shared a kiss while overlooking a sunset on a dwarven city ship. and you have heard the calls of your ancestors that then has sent you into the moment that that call was first implanted within you inside this Yuan-Ti temple. And now the scene shifts again into your family home. Only it is a family home that is familiar but unfamiliar. Like the dimensions of it are familiar. Like you've been inside this structure before, but it is a family home that is sparse and not very furnished and doesn't have any of the trappings of children yet. And you hear the cries of a woman in labor. And you hear the encouragement of the midwives of your people giving instructions in your language. And as you look up, you're in the main foyer, and you look up the stairs, you hear the cries coming from the second level, and you see a young man, your dad, pacing outside of these rooms, waiting expectantly for the news of some young person to be born. And you realize that this is you. Has to be. You're an only child.
He's not aware of our presence in the house.
Does not seem to see you, no. At least you're standing downstairs. He's pacing upstairs. He looks to be very focused on whatever those cries are all about. He does not seem to notice you yet.
Zaz.
He looks down. I'm sorry, what are you doing here? What? I'm sorry, we cannot have visitors. We cannot have guests. My wife is about to give birth to our baby girl. Don't ask me how I know it's a baby girl. I feel it. I feel it. We never really entertained boys' names. We knew it was going to be a girl.
You're excited.
Of course, it is our child. Of course, I'm very excited. Of course, I'm very worried. These cries are driving me crazy right now.
It'll be fine. Sana is strong.
She is. Yes. She is. If only this would just get over with. I want to see this child. I need to see. We have a lot of living and memories to give to this, our baby girl. And I know that there will be great things that will come from her.
Why her?
We don't have time for this. We don't have to, you must leave. I'm sorry. I should have said, I'm distracted. Please, you must leave now.
You're happy.
I am ecstatic. I am, but I cannot be distracted. I must be there for my wife, and I must, of course. And you hear your mother's voice from the next room, and you hear her call out your father's name. Zaz, come. She's here. And suddenly your father, Zaz, just shoos you all away. And he runs, opens one of the doors and runs into the room. And you see a midwife very briefly close the door with a shadowy clawed hand and just looks down at you with a grin as it closes the door.
Did you see that?
Remember, Neska, you are not trapped here with it. It is trapped here with you. These are your memories. These are your people. We saw it. Find it.
And being mind linked with Neska, I don't know if it gives you any insight to emotions or anything, but given the fact that you're inside Neska's mind, inside her mind, inception, the absolute joy and relief that she is feeling from knowing that her father is not a cold and heartless prick. She was like, oh my God. But then that is shattered and left with a sense of confusion that if she was just born, how could she know this conversation occurred? This conversation must be fake. So her feelings are very conflicted, but knowing that you saw the clawed hand close the door, she's going to try and compose herself. Don't know what I need to remember.
Ivar, having felt that process, that thought process, adds to you. If you are more than yourself, you are your mother, you are your father, you are your forebears, which means you are in this room, and you can be in there too if you wanted to. And you feel Ivar's nudge for you to basically sort of mind link pointing toward the door, as if to tell you you can get us in that room if you wanted to. And at this point, he's been holding his hands, whatever for flavor, there's that energy that Ivar carries that you can feel it, this sort of not uncomfortable sort of energy, like the sun when it's sort of tickling your skin, like that, just sort of moving through.
Normally, Neska has flinched or retracted or outright refused any physical contact, apart from what Yonshu has been initiating. But she'll stand a little straighter and sort of shrug her shoulders into Ivar's hands, and then hold her hands out for Joel and Yonshu to grab onto.
They take your hand.
Neska then closes her eyes and envisions the inside of that birthing room, that nursery, her bedroom.
Okay. Neska, as you grasp the hands of your friends, you feel their energy course into you, and your energy sort of course back out through them. And you feel in this moment that with your powers combined and with the knowledge of the memories that you have within you, as you are piecing these things together, you suddenly find yourself within the birthing room. And you see this figure.
That's something.
Don't say smash. Don't say it.
I'm trying real hard not to.
I promise you I am not saying smash.
He typed it. He didn't say it. He typed it.
Accepted.
You see this figure dressed in white with shadowy, smoky tendrils leaking out from the back of its robes, hovering over the bed that your mother is lying in, cradling this freshly born child. Your father, Zaz, is pinned against the wall with one of these tentacles. I need you all to roll for initiative.
So that's 16 for Ivar.
11 for Neska.
16 as well. Nervous, guys? We good? We good? Feel all right? Gonna have a good time? Yeah?
I love comedies.
Me too.
We will say on a 16, but your dex, since you both rolled 16, your dex is still higher though, Jal. You are first in the initiative order. You enter, you suddenly hop into the space. You see this nightmarish midwife hovering above the bed, just sort of grimacing very creepily at your mother, Neska, and pinning with this smoky tendril your father, Zaz, against the wall.
Question. I mean, I wrote it on the chat earlier that Ivar had a ready action. Would I be able to use that before initiative order?
I'm going to say no, and I'm going to tell you why. The way I think of ready to actions, it's ready to action is for like ready to action in a known space. Like if you're going down a tunnel, like you know that you're focused on whatever is happening in that tunnel. With this, the way the world is working, you have no idea what you might be facing in the next room. So you don't necessarily have the foreknowledge to ready an action because you don't necessarily know what's going to be coming at you.
Can I attempt to explain what the ready action is to see if that
by all means, please.
Ivar wouldn't have been expecting a specific thing. He would have been expecting the moment that darkness or the nightmare would be revealed.
Okay.
And the ready action would have been, since his hands are on Neska, even though in the space currently with the people there present doesn't really matter, he would have had readied Crusader's mantle.
Okay.
So that the moment that they would have find themselves facing darkness, he would have unleashed Crusader's mantle around him, which is a radius of 30 feet, to give 1d4 of radiant damage to every ally in the area.
Okay. We'll say you do that then.
Thank you. Proceed.
Jal, it is your turn.
All right. Seeing this form floating over the bed, Kyle's just going to see all this, and the fact that it's a creepy monster dressed up as a midwife, he's just going to go, I didn't need that image.
No, nobody did. This image sucks, man.
Yeah, no, it really does, but, all right, buddy. You ready?
Oh yes, Jal, let's do to it.
That voice, I can do anything. And now Jal will speak out loud, looking at this thing, and say, you know, it's not the first time that I've been in a place like this, fighting a thing like you. I'm gonna do the exact same thing to you that I did to the other one. And that is, let my friends beat the ever-living shit out of you. And I'm going to lift the ring hand, and a burst of light is going to come forth with arcane emerald chains wrapping around this form as I cast Hold Monster.
Very well.
That would be a wisdom saving throw, DC 16.
It rolls an 11 plus its wisdom makes it.
That was a 16.
Oh,
Slut. Alrighty.
Son of a-
that would have been absolutely amazing.
It would have been absolutely amazing. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. Alrighty, so backup plan then, he doesn't get the change. Alright, fine. We're just going to give him a telekinetic strength saving throw, DC 16, just to try to push him back. And depending on the nature of the grapple that he has on Neska's father, this would break it.
It's a 14.
He gets shoved 5 feet back.
You're pushing him away from the bed, or because it's like it goes, you guys enter the room, you see the monster hovering over the bed. So like you're like coming in, you see the bed directly in front of you with the monster hovering over it. Behind him, or behind the monster, or on the other side of the monster, is the father.
Oh, okay.
So you're casting them that way, away from the bed, and
I will strafe sideways because my options are push it away from me or push it towards me. I will strafe sideways so that away from me is also away from the father.
Got it. Okay, you do that. You're just you stretching out your ring. You suddenly hear Vidil's voice in your head. Let's go to work. And this thing, like, you just knock this thing against the wall, and does that complete your turn? Okay, Ivar, it is your turn.
As soon as this thing is shoved away from Neska's father to the side of the room, Ivar moves his arms away from Neska and just completely devoid of emotion, just resolved in his eyes. He's walking toward this thing. And if allowed for flavor, Ivar
I'll allow anything for flavor.
Ivar is so aware because of the fact that he doesn't dream. He's so aware of this being a construct that he actually doesn't draw or unhooks the shield, but rather as he's walking, his arm just shooks, shield shows up on his arm, and then he just has a moment where he just moves his hand and the sword just manifests in his hand.
Very cool. Okay.
And he's going to strike at this thing. However, I am channeling. Actually, he's going to attempt to strike.
Okay.
Does a 24 hit?
Jesus Christ. Yes, it hurt. It definitely hits.
Wonderful. I am going to use Improved Divine Smite at 3rd level, which means that I am going to be able to roll 5d8. That is going to be a total of 27 points of radiant damage.
Is that including your thingamabobby that you put up as well? Extra 4 radiant? D4 radiant?
Oh, yeah.
Let me
The Crusader's Mantle?
see that I am...
Does that apply to everyone else except you, or does that apply to you
what
as well?
That's what I'm reading right now. Oh, yeah, including me. So that is actually going to be 30 points of radiant damage plus 19 points of slashing damage. And
Okay, so it does have resistance to slashing, including slashing from magic weapons. So yeah, so
Damn.
half that damage. At least for this particular kind of weapon.
are we talking about the damage of the
Not-
slicing damage, not the radiant.
Not the radiant. No.
Yeah, so it's 30 points plus half of whatever that I just said. What?
I think it was it 19?
19.
So 9 points
Yeah.
of slashing damage. But also, slasher feet, his distance of movement is reduced by 10 feet.
Good to know. Does that complete your turn?
Let me see, does it?
And then you attack
I-
again.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Get to it.
moved. Sorry. I moved. Yeah, so that was my action and my movement, correct?
As a paladin you're level 11, right?
All right, yeah, so I still have another attack.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Please don't forget that.
No, I won't. But also, on top of that, bonus action, I cast Spiritual Weapon,
What?
Okay.
which I believe I'm able to use on the turn when I cast it, correct?
Yes.
And that's going to be a...
What does it manifest as?
So, you see this whole display when Ivar summons the shield and the sword. And this motion where his hand manifests his sword just goes straight through this creature. And the creature probably sees the glow of Ivar's body extend to the sword as it slides and causes all this radiant damage. And as he's striking in that direction, his eye, there's like this moment in the camera close up of his eye as he looks to the other side, and he manifests his spiritual weapon on the other side of the beast. It starts with a spark, kind of like the Big Bang, if you will. It's the spark of sunlight that seems to manifest like a sun gem. And from that sun gem, this form of this holy relic of the Kalashtar's people, of the paladins of Kalashtar, this ancient righteous sword of golden light appears.
So, in other words, hold on one second, because it's a particular order that you're talking about that you're referencing from your character sheet, and I want to make sure that I get this right.
Yes.
Backstory, y'all. Backstory. Oh, by the way, I totally just went back in and like read all of your backstory stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
So for this particular order, this is the order of... This is the order Monasoon. The Order of Monasoon, which is the paladin order that is located within the holy districts of Dashte, the capital of the Dream Isles.
Mm-hmm. This sword is probably found in paintings, in glass work, in like holy places. It is one of the many symbols that is used to sort of like bless weaponry and armor and like places, holy places. And
you hear Vel inside you as you cast this. You hear her voice inside your mind saying, "Yes, yes, yes, yes."
So, does a 21 hit?
Yeah, it hits.
So this, and then just to make sure, does an 18 hit?
And 18 does make it, yes.
Wonderful. All right, so 19, okay. The combination is Ivar comes in, makes the first strike. The radiant energy channels through from his sword to cast all this damage. As he's making that movement, his eyes are already casting this holy sword on the other side. As the creature is barely reacting to Ivar's slicing, the the golden sword appears, strikes 9 points of force damage. And as this thing is attacking, Ivar comes back with the reverse of his second strike and throws the second attack of his action for a total of 19 slice, which would be 9 points. So it's 9 points of force damage, 9 points of slicing damage.
And extra radiant damage as well.
And that also means 2 other extra points of radiant damage as well.
Okay, so in the space of just your first turn, you've done like 59 points of damage all in one go.
Here's the thing. I don't think there's anything that says that I can only use Divine Smite once per turn. So that means that I'm going to go ahead and cash another spell slot to Divine Smite with my second strike. And what do you know?
I'm looking up this roll. I'm looking up this roll right now.
I can read it to you as I have it right here. I can read it to you. I have it right here. Divine Smite. When you hit with a melee weapon attack, you can spend.
Divine Smite can be used multiple times per. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Gross?
Cool. You do that. So you have to when you successfully hit a creature. So, okay. All right. Yep. Roll your Divine Smite damage.
So I'm going to be adding another 27 points of radiant damage.
Oh my God.
So I did a total of 59 points of radiant damage in one turn. And I want to make it very clear that Ivar makes all of this happen in the blink of an eye. And after that second strike, and his sword ends up at the low with his shield in front of him, his eyes are looking at this thing, and it just says, "I told you I would find you."
And you see, as this thing is taking the slices and cuts of your weapon and the radiant damage, it is like being battered across the room, and it gets battered into a rough vanity that's all on the other side, and the glass just smashes everywhere. Ivar, I need you to give me a perception check.
Oh, come on, guys, come on. 21.
21. As the glass shatters and begins to just break off, and just you suddenly see reflected in the glass as it's moving and sort of like turns towards you, you see the space in the room above and behind you. And you see the form of another midwife splayed out on the ceiling, looking down with a smile. And you just see it sort of just hanging there. That actually brings up the Dream Devourer, who you were just attacking. This creature has had enough of all of you. All of your nice little moments here and there. All of your nice little stratagems that are just building up until you feel comfortable enough to finally take a swing. And he is going, or he, that's whatever this thing is. They're going to cast Mind Blast on you, Ivar. Actually, it's technically on all of you. Because this thing is psychic energy up to a 60-foot cone.
I'm sorry, did you say the word cast?
I'm sorry, magically emits psychic energy
Fine.
in a 60-foot cone. Each creature in that area must succeed on a DC 15 intelligence saving throw.
How far is the party from me?
How far is the party from you?
Yeah.
They're around. They're like, you all bamped right into the same area.
Great. That means then that they are within my aura.
Yep, they are.
So you guys have a +4 to all saving throws.
18.
And you said it's an intelligence?
Yes.
You also said emits a magical psychic blast?
Magically emits psychic energy.
Magic effects I have advantage on.
Okay.
Sweet. Oh, no, D4. I just add 4.
18.
Hey, twinsies. Taylor, no.
That +4
12.
came in clutch.
I rolled a 3 and a 4.
Wait, 4 total?
4 plus my int saving is 4, so that's 8, plus your aura is another 4, that's 12.
You do not save.
Yep. I would have been very surprised if I did. That looks like a lot of dice. What happens if Neska dies and you're in her mind?
Brain still works even when you're unconscious.
18. You take 23 points of psychic damage, Neska. And you are stunned for 1 minute.
A minute?
A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effects on itself with a success.
Is that
You are
half
stunned.
damage on the rest of us?
Yeah, actually, it doesn't say anything about half damage, so you saved, you do not take any damage.
Okay.
Resistance to psychic damage, so technically I wouldn't have taken damage anyway.
You gain hit points.
I actually gain 100 HP. Just cause.
Wouldn't have been poison or disease.
Oh, it wouldn't have been so nice if it was.
You and that purple worm poison, you were like, no, stop you.
This is kind of funny to me, but also kind of not. It's sad, I guess. Neska, it is your turn.
Oh, cool. I'll attempt the save.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do I get advantage again? Because it's...
Yes. You
Yeah,
have
cool.
You have advantage.
Oh, much better. 13 plus 8.
13 plus 8?
21.
Yeah.
21. That definitely makes it.
Sweet. Is that my action? To break
yes.
it? So that ends
It's
my
at
turn.
it's at the end of the turn that you roll the save, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. Hey,
Cool.
one turn.
Which brings up the second Dream Devourer. Unbeknownst to you, except for Ivar, who hasn't had a chance to scream out that there is another target above you. This Dream Devourer is going to... It is going to drop down, just sort of fluttering to the ground, and it is going to ever so gently touch you, Jal, on the shoulder.
No, it's not.
Don't like it. Mm-mm.
I
do
need
not consent.
I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw.
+4.
Is this a spell?
Technically, yes, it is.
Am I aware of my attacker?
No.
Damn it. Not even with a passive perception of 10.
Oh no.
Oh, you nearly made me spit.
You guys have jokes.
I will rule that.
Saved your life.
I'll rule that since I am not able to see this person, that this still happens, but I'll take that +4 on the con save for a total of +6. $15.
15. That is a failure.
Okay.
I need to get more dice.
Okay.
That's never what you want to hear.
Don't worry, guys. We've been in tougher scrapes than this.
It's like, Andy, why are you taking out the D100s? So if we're everything is happening in the mind space, how would an action that would be something like a melee attack still be connected to spiritual, like energy, mental things? Asking for a friend.
We can't hear it.
Can't hear it. Oh, we can feel it.
Oh yeah.
Definitely feel it.
Okay, so
I rolled the ones. I rolled a couple ones there.
1
So
+ 1 + 1.
So 3
+ 1.
that is 5. That is 9. That is 13 plus 5 is 18 plus 30.
What?
That is 48 points of necrotic damage. As you feel this finger, a finger of death, touch the emerald fabric of your freshly made tunic, and immediately your right arm completely necrotizes and becomes almost a husk, a dried husk of flesh that just hangs limp at your side, Jal.
That was a total of 48.
48 points of damage.
Jal cries out in pain, turning about face and looking his attacker right in their face, and she goes, "Oh, you're gonna wish you didn't do that."
Ouch! Jeez, Joel, that hurt.
I'm loving the commentary of this genie because I can totally see them on like an imaginary podium with the whole like, and we're here on the. What do you think about it? It's like, well, thank you for asking.
Up in the bleachers with flags and popcorn.
Yeah. Just a bunch of copies of itself pretending to be the audience, like cheering
Oh,
and eating
yes.
popcorn.
For anyone who's watching this, if for whatever reason you thought that maybe Vidil's Jean character was based on sort of a Robin Williams-esque understanding of the genie, you're not far off. Same
Love it.
kind of ballpark.
I love it. Love it so much.
I love him. I love him.
That will complete that Dream Devourer's turn. At least. Yes, that will complete that Dream Devourer's turn. That will actually bring up your father's turn. You see your younger father, Neska, look frantically at the bed where your mother is lying, holding an infant. And you see this look of panic enter his eyes. And with complete reckless abandon, he charges at the Dream Devourer that IVAR has been attacking. And he is going to use He is going to use his Fists of Fury, and he is going to charge in, his fists glowing with this golden light, and he is going to come in and start punching this creature. Zaz is going to charge in with all of his might, and he is going to make his first attack. That is a natural 20.
That also means that the 1d4 radiant is a full 4.
It's an automatic 4. All right, so 4 plus all right, that is so that's technically a 28. He hits with a 28. So that is, well, that is 6. That is 6 automatically. So he gets 1d6 plus 4. So that is, we do the full for the critical. That is 10, and then I roll. Okay, so that's 2 plus 4. That's 6. So that is 16 points of damage to this creature on the first strike. That is a 19 on the second strike.
Let's go, Papa Neska. Let's go.
Let's do this, Daddy-O. That felt weird. That sounded weird.
I guess Daddy-O is probably the least provocative way you could have said that.
It's the awkward word of talking to your dad who doesn't know that you're his daughter. You're like, yeah, good job, Daddy-O. Because, you're cool and stuff. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
so that is 6 plus 4. That is 10 points of damage.
I hope
that's his second attack. He is going to use his bonus action. He's going to use Burn a Key Point, and he is going to Flurry of Blows.
Let's fucking go.
That is 17. That is 18. And another 17. I'm rolling really well tonight. I am rolling really well tonight. Plus, he also has some pretty decent bonuses with him.
Crusader's mantle there, giving a blessing, baby. Go.
Oh, and then I forgot to add that. Thank you for reminding me. So that was automatic 4. So that's 4 damage right there.
Well, it's a 1d4. It's 4 if it's a nat. Like, it's a 1d4.
Oh, well, I didn't add the nat 20 on the nat 20 damage. So
gotcha.
I just added that right now. So that is Flurry of Blows. So that is, let's see here. So that is 3 plus 4, that is 7. And 4 plus 4, that is 8. So 15, an additional 15 points of damage. This thing is looking beat the fuck up right now.
All that, and with radiant damage and everything, still up, this fucker.
All right. That brings us back up to the top of the initiative order with Jal. Jal, your right arm.
But did Yanshu go?
Yanshu did not go. He is actually holding. He is holding his action at present.
Fair. Okay.
He saw basically what he did was he saw that Neska was stunned, and so he did not move to attack. He was waiting for something to come at them.
Okay. So, turning back onto this second Dream Devourer, so is there a spot leading out of the room behind this?
There's the doorway.
Yeah. But like the way that I'm picturing this, because it dropped down behind me, so like the only thing behind me is like wall with that door.
Yes.
I'm gonna guess. Alrighty. So that being said, after it just tried to cast Finger of Death and Jal turns around, he's gonna grunt, lifting his arm, pointing at this thing. He's going to shoot a blast of green energy that is going to just go wide right and miss this creature And as it thinks that Jal has completely missed him, he's going to smirk as behind him, Jal casts Sickening Radiance. And he's going to have it erupt into just this. We've done it before. We're going to make the sun behind him, just because I like that. So, casting it so that this 30-foot radius sphere ends literally just behind him. So this thing is outside of it. And as it kind of comes to grips with that and looks back at Jal, Jal's going to wave, and then I'm going to telekinetic shove him into it. So that would be a DC 16 strength saving throw.
It rolled a 7.
So that's the fun thing about Sickening Radiance, is that the verbiage on it is that you make that save the first time on a turn, the first time you enter its space on a turn, and this is Jal's turn, so it's going to need to make a Constitution saving throw now.
It's an 8.
Alrighty. I will roll 4d10 radiant damage, and it takes a level of exhaustion.
So that is a negative to any of its ability checks and or attack rolls, or is it just ability checks?
Ability checks,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, it's 2 points. It's ability checks and attack rolls, I'm pretty sure.
Guys, we rolled good. We rolled good.
This creature is
25.
really terrifying, though.
Disadvantage on ability checks for first level of exhaustion.
25 points of radiant damage. And
And
just
its
letting
speed
you
is
know,
halved.
speed is halved. Where did that come from?
I'm looking at levels of exhaustion. Level 1 is disadvantage on ability checks. Level 2
its speed
is
is halved, yeah.
speed halved. Oh, level 2, sorry. It only
Level
has
2,
one
so
level
this
of
is just
exhaustion.
level 1.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Ability
So it's
checks.
just got that, but just letting you know, the full line is when a creature moves into the spell's area for the first time on the turn, which just happens, or starts its turn there. So it'll make another save when it's its turn.
Got it. Ivar, it is your turn.
Alrighty. Ivar watches the Neska's father strike at this thing, his eyes spotting the whole situation that unfolds with Jal. And Ivar has a moment where his eyes look at the creature that he's been fighting, and he commands his spiritual weapon to strike it again. Does a 16 hit?
It does not. 16 does not hit.
Okay. Ivar is going to look at it. He's going to... How far is... if I were to reach for Jal, would that be within reach, or would I need to move? I don't know how big the room is.
Say what you just said again.
Like, would Jal be within like 5 feet of me in this room still, or would I need to move to get to him?
You would still be. You would still be within 5. Yeah, you're within 5 feet.
Great. As the sword attempts to strike, but he fails, his attention looks at the creature that Jal just threw with Sickening Radiance. And Jal, you have Ivar places, as it like quickly does like a brief altar of his sword. One of his hands grabs your shoulder. His eyes lock on the wraith that the wraith that was attacking you, and with an eye of defiance, I'm going to use Lay on Hands to restore all the damage that Jal got, which was how much? 40 what?
48.
48.
It was 48, but I had more HP lost at that. Whatever you give me, buddy.
How much below are you right now?
On an arbitrary scale of 1 to 88, I'm at a solid 20. I can probably take your whole pool, I'm not gonna lie.
So you're going to get 55 points.
Not that I want your whole pool. In fact, if it were up to me, I wouldn't have any of this. Y'all would be fine, trust me.
I need your spells to stay up. So you feel this charge of energy flow from Ivar's hand through it to your shoulder, through your arm, and all the necrotic feeling that you have is suddenly seems to almost like perspire out through your pores and out of you as you recover that.
Jaw's gonna watch this and just go, oh, he touched me.
He touched the butt.
That's going to be my turn.
Okay. With that pool of healing, as it transfers into you, Jal, your arm suddenly restores fully. And the light, almost the silvery essence of light just suddenly just spreads from, I nearly said Victor, spreads from Ivar into you and just coats your arm in this brilliant, almost like this liquid metal look. And it's suddenly just almost like hardens and then seeps back beneath the skin. And your arm is restored. Does that complete your turn, Ivar?
Yep, that's all I can do.
Okay. That brings up the Dream Devourer that is currently being attacked by a monk who is fighting for his family and also doing battle with Ivar. And they are going to attempt to mind blast. They're going to attempt to mind blast the group again. So each creature needs to make a DC 15 intelligence saving throw.
It's 23.
Oh, thank goodness. I have advantage. Intelligence. 18. Plus
4
from your aura. Plus 4 from aura. Beautiful. 18, 22.
Success.
You sound very disappointed.
What did you say?
8.
Oh no.
You take
God damn it.
14, 21, 26, 29 plus. You take 34 points of psychic damage and you are stunned.
As I'm taking this damage, I will use my reaction for Tomb of Levistus and gain 100 temporary hit points that takes effect before the damage goes through.
Hula, what now?
Hell
This
yeah,
is
Tomb of
legit-
Levistas, baby!
Let's go.
This is what Jal did right before a building fell on him and Ivar the other day.
That's
once
right.
per short rest,
Yep.
as a reaction, when you take damage, you can entomb yourself in ice, which melts away at the end of your next turn, gaining 110 temporary HP because I leveled up. So, yeah. After you take the damage, you gain vulnerability to fire damage, your speed is reduced to 0, and you are incapacitated. All the effects end when the ice melts. But, so after that damage goes through, I have 76 temporary hit points.
Huge play. Well done.
So you basically
Beautiful.
have this one more point. You have one more point than you had a second ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
'Cause he
effectively, I have more than double.
Okay. But you are stunned
Yes.
for a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
Wally nice.
Okay. that will complete its turn. Neska, it is your turn.
Is my mother on the bed aware of what's happening, or is she still just basking in the afterbirth glow? Suz is fighting to save his wife and newborn, but isn't Sana on the bed with a newborn?
Oh yeah, she is just clutching the baby to her, just in a protective way.
So she's aware of what's happening.
She is, well, sort of. Like, she's very much out of it at this point.
Okay. But she's enough to know that something's off. She's not, like, completely oblivious to the fight going around her. Okay.
Sort of. She's very dazed. Not completely oblivious. Like, she knows there's a fight happening. But she's, like, so weak that she's just sort of out of it.
Yeah.
I think the clarification is it's not like she's not like a different dream happening. The not awareness is from exhaustion, not from like she's a different like mirage.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And okay, so she's clearly exhausted from just having a baby. There doesn't seem to be any post-birth complications.
No.
Nope, that the birth went all swimmingly. Beautiful. Cool. Okay. Neska will relax a little bit, but she will position herself sort of in front of the bed, and then try and use like her body as a shield and keep them behind her, but also get within range of the Dream Devourer that Ivar and my father are fighting.
Okay.
And I'm going to just lay into this thing. So, would I be flanking with either of them?
Yes.
Sweet.
Technically speaking, the sword and the father are already there too, so.
Yeah. Oh, spiritual weapon doesn't count to flank, which sucks.
No.
Never mind then.
Yeah. But 16 plus 7.
That hits.
Which is 1d8, 6 points of bludgeoning. Oh, damage. Do I get a d4? Wait.
Yes, you do.
Another.
Because of Crusader's Mantle, yeah.
Crusade, yep. What did I say? 10 points on the first attack. Stunning strike. It will need to make a Constitution saving throw DC 15.
It's going to burn a legendary resistance, and it is choosing to succeed instead.
Fair enough. Second attack.
Okay.
18 plus 7.
That's a hit.
Stun the fucker.
6, 9, 13 points.
13 points.
1d4.
Yep, that was including the d4. And physicians. Oh, well, I'm going to expend another key point for Hand of Harm. Where is it? Oh my god, there's so much to physicians.
Basically add necrotic, extra necrotic damage.
When you make an unarmed attack, with Flurry of Blows, you can use Hand of Harm with that. Oh, sorry. So I'm going to spend the attack to do Flurry of Blows. There's the key point, and I can do Hand of Harm with one of these strikes without spending an additional key point. That one's going to miss. 6 plus 7, 13. No. And that will be a 17 on the other last one.
That makes it. 17 makes it, breaks it.
Beautiful. So
1d8 plus 4.
1d8 plus 4. 7, sorry, d4. 10, 13 points. That one will, wait. Hand of Harm. When you hit a creature, you spend 1d8 plus 3 necrotic damage. But then, Physician's Touch.
How much total?
When you for that attack.
And 10, the D4.
Yep, 6 plus 7. 13.
How do you want to do this?
Let's go!
Yeah, baby.
Just for flavor, because we're in my mind, if I speak Abyssal, you're going to be able to understand it if DM allows for flavor.
Sure.
And then I'm just going to go in with like an uppercut to the jaw and then smash across its face to sort of like bring its head down. And then with the final flurry of blows as it comes down, I'm going to bring my knee up and try and like absolutely destroy its face. And with each hit, it's my mind, my family, my rules.
Yeah, you, with each successive hit, you're not only dealing the power of the blow, but with each, you also have the extra necrotic damage and the radiant damage that is just sort of flowing through you right now. And it is literally like in Invincible, where Invincible's dad is just beating his face to a pulp to the mountainside. It's like that, where you're just like, and you're screaming that out just over and over and over again. And your father just sort of just looks at you from the side, and he just sort of sees what you're doing. And this thing just suddenly, just slowly just melts into this icky puddle of like black smoking goo, like tar, and just sort of coats like the glass on the floor and the settee, or the settee, but also the vanity as well. He did.
My turn.
That's your turn. That brings up the second Dream Devourer, and this Dream Devourer is going
Needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
It's a 16.
Damn.
Does it take half?
That passes. No.
Oh.
This so you are stunned, which means you can't actually succeed on this. It is suddenly from its back springs these 4 smoking tentacles that are going to wrap around you, and you are grappled. Which normally would incur a DC 15 attempt to escape, but since you are stunned, you are not able to.
Question. For that grapple, would that be considered to be an attack first in order for the grapple to happen?
Yes.
Interception.
Is also encased in ice.
So like, if it's an attack roll, right? Like the grapple, in order for it to work, it needs to be as if it's attacking the ice or whatever Jal is.
Mm-hmm.
So Ivar's fighting style is interception, which means that when an enemy attacks someone that is within the vicinity, as long as he has his shield, he can intercept to reduce the damage. So would that affect the grapple in any way?
No, it would affect the damage.
It's a tricky situation, I know. That's why.
So he would take. He's going to take. He would normally take the 21 points of damage from this hit, but
So that grapple that you're saying was gonna come with damage, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What was the total?
21.
So that's going to be reduced to 8.
Okay.
Is Jal within 5 feet of Ivar though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's 8 points of psychic damage. Okay, that will complete its turn. Zaz is going to just look down at the puddle that Neska has made of the original Dream Devourer, and he is going to turn, and he sees sort of the clamor of the other Dream Devourer attacking Jal, and he is going to run over and start to try and attack this Dream Devourer as well.
Oh, Papa.
That is a 17.
Let's go, Daddy-o.
That is a hit. That is 5 points of bludgeoning damage. That
Plus
is a nat
1d4.
1. Oh, yes. So that is 9 points of bludgeoning damage. That was a nat 1 for the second attack. So that's a miss. And he is going to also burn another key point to do Flurry of Blows. That is a 19. That's a hit. That is another natural 20. Taking a picture.
Let's go, Daddy-o!
Papa protecting the family. Let's go.
He's not a heartless prick. He does love us.
You got Papa had the heart.
What the hell happened to it?
Life.
That's cold.
Time to roll damage. So the first attack, or we'll roll the crit. So that's 10, and then that is 6. So that is 16. 16 points of bludgeoning
Plus
damage.
4 radiant, plus 1d4.
Yes. So 4, and then plus 4. That's 4 again. And so that was the crit. Now it's for the second attack. That is 5 plus 4. That is 9. That will complete his turn. Jal, it is your turn.
And it just ends as the Tomb of Levistus melts away.
Okay. And do you need to make another saving throw?
Oh yeah, because I'm stunned.
Yeah.
12. Wait, 11.
Do you have advantage on that? No.
I don't think I have advantage.
Wait,
Only
no.
I do.
No, it's just a 4.
No, you do not have advantage.
No, just a 4.
No, just a 12. Nope,
Okay.
11. God damn it.
Yes, you are still stunned.
Okie dokie. And I no longer have temporary HP.
Ivar, it is your turn.
Alrighty. Seeing Neska take down this thing, the first one, and seeing as the ice melts away from Jal, knowing how it was last time, if allowed as just a free action, in her mind, Neska is going to hear Ivar say, "Your parents are not the only ones you are connected to." And it's just a nudge, as if it's sort of like suggesting to you to attempt to summon more Yuan-Ti from your ancestry. With that, whether arms, tentacles, whatever it is, Ivar just advances toward this creature. Does a 24 hit?
That does definitely hit.
Great. That's going to be basically Ivar is moving. It takes a step toward this thing, and as he takes a step, his spiritual weapon flies past his face, and it just goes straight toward this thing, and it just pierces through with 7 points of force damage on it. And Ivar just uses that momentum as this sword gets there, as he then goes in with his strikes.
Okay.
son of a bitch. 12 doesn't hit.
Nope.
But a 25 will.
Oh, yes, it does.
Great. So that is going to be 12 points of slicing damage. Speed is reduced by 10. And then Divine Smite. But that's going to be second level, so that's going to be 4. That's going to be 17 plus 4. 18. So that's going to be a total of 18 points of radiant damage.
Wow. This thing is taking some blows.
Mm-hmm. And after that, so yeah, the flying spiritual weapon strikes. He attempts the first strike, misses. The second one comes in, slices this thing, and then Ivar just goes almost like Spartan style. It's just shield up, sword up, right above. It's just facing this thing head on.
Awesome. Neska, it is your turn. Are you doing anything differently?
Yes.
Because you've heard sort of the advice from Ivar.
And I'm going to take it. I'm still going to stand in front of... So I'm going to like move around the bed now. So I'm still in between Sana and the Dream Devourer. But I would like to do patient... Is it bonus? Yeah, patient defense.
Okay.
And then I'm not going to close my eyes because I don't want to provoke anything, but sort of internally remember all the other Yuan-Ti before me. So my grandfather, Sims, and grandmother, and then expand that to, as much as I hate it, I will call out to Master Dimia and oh my god, I'm blanking on his name.
Master Zekas.
Master Zekas as well, yes. And just every other Yuan-Ti that I can think of.
Okay.
I will mentally call out their names.
I need you to give me a D100 roll.
Oh boy.
Anything, it's going to be a 10 plus your level.
Okay, so 21.
21. If you roll lower than a 21, so 21 and below, something may happen. Roll higher than that, nothing's going to happen.
9. I will take a photo.
On
That's...
Oh, fuck.
Okay. As you move to that side of the bed and slide into your patient defense, you see your mother look at you, Neska, and you see sort of a slight confused look at her as she sees you. This look of recognition. And she says, You again. What's your name? Neska. Neska, you are... How are you here? You are... And then suddenly all of these people suddenly stand toe-to-toe with each of you, suddenly filling in the gaps around this creature. And they are moving with you in your attack. And I will say you are at a
for any unarmed strike, you are at a plus 10 to your damage roll.
I will add for flavor. This is basically Ivar's Gandalf moment of dawn look east, because the whole thing was, as these Yuan-Ti show up, they are all within the range of his Crusader's mantle. Which means that, for flavor, even if it's not mechanically so, every single individual joined forces has radiant damage imbued on them because they are within that mantle.
Got it.
And that's basically what Ivar, in a sense, was kind of like rooting, like pushing toward.
Okay.
And it's just this one remaining Dream Devourer. I can't feel or sense any other inky black tendrils creeping around in this room / my mind.
It seems that there are only 2 here.
Okay. And nothing funky is happening with the goop.
No.
No? Cool. Well, I've already taken the patient defense. Spend 1 key point to take the dodge action as a bonus. Cool. Yep, run up again. Smack a bitch. Is it still... Because did it move on its last turn? Is it still within
It has a move.
the sickening ray?
No.
So it's still
No.
within the sickening ray.
Yes.
Boo. I will step to the edge because Jal cast it so it was just within. So would I be able to like punch through and into it?
I'll say yes.
I'll take damage. I'm totally fine if I have to step into it.
Okay.
So I'll need to make a con save.
For the sickening ray.
Yeah.
thought maybe
18.
you're
18
fine.
plus.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's 4.
Yeah, you're good.
Yep. It puts me in the 20s. All right, and then first attack, I will not have advantage. 17.
That makes it.
Sweet. That's a D10. Need to clean up my dice tree. D8. There. That's an 8
So 18.
plus 3 plus the D4 is a 4. Holy shit. That's 22 points of bludgeoning.
Yep. Your fists glowing with each successive strike.
Natural 20.
Take a picture of that shit.
Let's go! Dice are telling the story today.
Fucking end him.
Blast him!
And it rolled in between the 8 and the 4 that I rolled for damage on the previous attack. My heart is in my chest. So that is going to be an automatic 8, 12, 15. Plus D8. Oh, that's a 1.
Plus 4 radiant.
Just
16,
keep dropping that in
18.
there. Plus 4 radiant. Plus
I
4
will
radiant.
Yeah, so it's gonna be-
continuously.
2 radiant, so 17 plus an additional 3. 4, so 20 points of force damage. 2 of that is radiant.
Okay.
If it's a crit, does that mean that she gets 1 full 4 too?
Yes.
I had already added that.
Oh, great.
Okay.
That was part of the 15. Yes. 8 plus 3 plus 4. Yeah, I'd already added it.
Okay.
Flurry of blows.
Okay.
6 plus 7. Nope. First one misses. That's another nat 20.
Are you... Is that 3 nat 20s in 1 turn?
That's 2 nat 20s in 1 turn.
And 3 nat 20s in 2
Oh my
consecutive
God.
rounds.
This music is perfect for this moment.
Which is such a funny thing to say because on the recording when I'm editing this, there won't be any music.
Oh no!
You'll hear it. You'll hear it in your mind when we
Whoops,
get to this.
there was a flash, but that's another nat 20. So another 15. Oh, can I spend a key point? I'm going to do Hand of Harm. Which is an additional d8, so that's 15 plus 8. 23, so 8 of that is necrotic. And then Physician's... Oh, no, that was my second flurry of blows. Then Physician's Touch. When you use Hand of Harm, I can subject that creature to the poisoned condition until the end of my next turn.
They are immune to poison.
Damn it! That's alright.
You got your radiant, though.
Oh, I didn't roll the additional radiant.
You don't have to.
So
it's a 4.
It's a nat 20. It's
Don't I get to roll again? No, that's
Are you
normal.
doing... Well, how are you doing the crunch? Are you doing crunch
I was
crits?
doing brutal criticals. Are we not doing brutal?
So you get that for the radiant, for the crit,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and then I see what you're saying. So yeah, you would roll one more 4.
I get to roll one more. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well, that fell out of my tray, but it was a 1. Ooh.
Okay. You got anything left in the chambers here?
I don't. I did my 2 attacks, and then I did flurry of blows, and I missed one of them.
Okay. Jal, it is your turn.
That's
Actually, no. Technically, it's the Dream Devourer's turn. The
Yep.
Dream Devourer is going to.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah. That is a 15.
Hey, it gets to roll dice. It has 2 levels of exhaustion now.
So now speed
speed is
actually
halved.
minus 10 from the slicing damage from IVAR.
This thing's messed up.
We love you, Andy.
29 points of radiant damage.
Let's go.
I'll say, because Jal, how do you want to do this?
As Jal is stunned, and this is just happening in Sickening Radiance, I will pass this to Neska, who just fucked it right up.
Absolutely, I second that.
Okay.
I will respectfully abstain.
Okay. Starting to feel I ignored the sickening ray to begin with, so amped on adrenaline and anger that now that I can see the amount of damage that this thing has taken and I can start to feel the sickening ray now pressing against me, I will step out and let that radiant damage take a hold of it. And as it starts to burn and wither away, just dead in its eyes, you can come after me. But don't you dare think that I will let you come after my family and friends, you fiend!
And it is, you just, with one last punch, you punch it in further into the sickening radiance, and it suddenly, you see this thing melt in front of you, and it is completely burnt away, leaving no trace at all that it ever existed. You all are out of combat.
How's Joel looking?
Fantastic.
Really?
Yeah. I got a whole truckload of lay on hands, and then I put up
Oh, damn, you did too.
Yeah, the Tomb of
110
Levistas basically
temporary-
took the damage, and he
Before
already
him.
had the pool lay on hands.
So I am missing
And-
minimal HP.
I will turn on the spot and just watch what Saz and Sana are doing.
Neska. With that final hit and the Dream Devourer burned away, you turn, you glance over at Jal to make sure that they're okay. The tentacles of this beast have completely burned away, freeing Jal and giving them freedom of movement. You see Ivar standing just aglow in silver light. And it's at this point you see your father. And he's looking confused around the room. He looks back at your mother and says, "You saw that, right? You saw this. There were these warriors in light in the room." You see your mother just sort of nod, confused, weakly at your father. "That just happened, right? There was a battle we fought," and he looks down at the vanity, and you see there's no inky black pool anymore. There's just completely burned away, but the glass is still shattered on the ground. All of the damage in the room is still in place. Neska, from your point of view, you see your ancestors and the people in your life, in your past, gathered around the bed, all watching your parents love on their new child. And as corny as it may sound, your father looks at your mother, puts his arm around her, and just she's holding you, and so he tucks his hand underneath her arm, holding you close in this warm embrace. This entire time you've been asleep. You've not stirred at all. And he looks at you and he says, "I know we fought a lot about what to call this child, but I feel like ultimately it doesn't matter what I think. You please name her as you see fit." And there's a pause, and your mother just sort of stares at you, Neska. At you, not baby you. And then she looks down at baby you, and then looks up at her husband. "We shall call her Neska." And that is where we will leave it for tonight.
Oh my goodness!
Beautiful.
What a game. The way the music just trailed off then was just perfect.
It's like I'm like riding the wave of that last visual.
This is so strange. Like, these are all memories, and I've just named myself.
Neska, you now have a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh no.
Grandfather paradox, baby.
Yeesh.
The way that I wrote this, or at least the way that I understand it in terms of my headspace and headcanon, is that this is not time travel.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same way that generational trauma can be passed down from father to child, from grandfather to child, from great-grand, all of that, generational blessing can also be a thing. And the children can pass or heal
the memories or the misdeeds of their forebears. And so, in a way, this creature, although it meant all of this for ill in terms of trying to break Neska's mind, mistakenly gave Neska an in, with the help of Ivar and Jal, to reach across the ancestors and influence a moment in time. And so it's not like you're traveling back in time to when this thing happened. It's like your ancestors are allowing you the power in this moment to influence an event.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Good game, guys.
That was great.
GG.
That was great.
Thank you all for watching, and thank you for joining us for our 14th episode of The Survivors of Ashcaleen. Please consider tuning in next time to see what happens as our heroes leave the dream world behind. We love you, and we hope that you all roll nothing but nat 20s. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.